crappy asshole. On the 14th floor and a bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the party's mixed, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 124 of Phired Up. Check us out at firedupsports.com. I'm Mike Letter. Joining me as always, Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Not much. Listen, we obviously missed the show last week. I had this whole thing about how I was so intrigued about and so fascinated by this prisoner that escaped, and now none of it matters. He's caught. Everything's good, and it's like a week old now at this point.
So he was caught after what would have been our show last week, or
Yeah, yes, I believe so. Yeah.
okay. Oh yeah, I guess it was right before the Eagles game, right? Because he had the Eagles hoodie on.
Right. Yeah, I think maybe it was Wednesday. I think ish, give or take, Wednesday or Thursday.
Right.
But I was so fascinated by it, and I wanted to talk about it, and now there's nothing. I was just so fascinated how one guy can just outrun just like 500 law enforcement. I was impressed. I was very impressed.
I mean, the Eagles need a punt returner, right?
It's true. That's true.
You know,
If you're looking for somebody to evade other human beings, and you want to get rid of Dylan Covey. Dylan Covey? Is it Dylan, or is that the Phillies guy?
No, I think it's the Phillies guy.
That's the Phillies guy. What's
Britton
Covey? Okay, there you go. Yeah, we two Coveys in the city, and they both suck.
Yeah. We're totally against everything Britain, so England. So yeah, we'll throw him in the this fucking cat. We'll throw him in the river, right?
Yes,
harbor.
exactly.
This
Yeah,
fucking cat.
exactly. So yeah, listen. Obviously, you couldn't talk Birds last week. They're 2-0 though, and we can get into it. And it's been a long time. I feel like I should play this song twice. I'm not going to, but I feel like I should. We'll play it once. Let's get it started.
Maybe we'll do it later.
Yeah, why did that start in the middle of it? I don't know what's going on. That was a fuck up by me. I was testing out the volume. I was testing out the volume before we went live here, and I played through like 90% of the song apparently. But anyway, so but I want to talk a little bit about week one. Kind of surprises, things that went wrong, went right, whatever. Week one, 25-20 victory over the Patriots. Listen, ugly wins better than a pretty loss, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Every single day of the week.
Yep, exactly. I know. Before we started recording here, you asked about your audio. Can you turn your volume up a little bit? You are a little low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This?
Yeah, it's better.
Better. Okay.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
So the game against the Patriots. I mean, obviously it was ugly, but they found a way to get the win.
It's ugly outside.
With rain. What's your kind of biggest takeaway? And this obviously we don't know anything that happens in the Vikings game, but like coming out of week one, what were your takeaways from the game?
The game plan, I did not expect them to run the ball so much early,
especially
on.
with Kenneth Gainwell.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on record on the show saying, and even privately with you and Chris, I did not expect, Kenneth Gainwell to have that many touches, especially early on. But Hurts didn't look great. I guess just from watching the game, it just kind of really seemed like he was limited. He kind of looked better than he did 2 years ago, but definitely nothing close to what he was last year. A lot of short like passes, nothing deep down the field.
I wonder if the weather played a factor in that, though.
I'm wondering if the weather played a factor. I'm wondering. I'll tell you another theory after we get to the Vikings game, but yeah, I mean, early on the defense looked, they were playing well early on. Slay obviously got the pick six. And then halftime came and things changed, and Bill Belichick, who obviously is one of the greatest, maybe the greatest head coach of all time, made adjustments, and Mac Jones looked like a different quarterback in the second half.
Yep.
He actually looked really good. I don't think he necessarily stinks like a lot of people do. But I don't think he's like, he looked like Tom Brady or in the second half last week. So,
no, I don't think Mac Jones is awful. I think he's like the middle of the road, 15th best quarterback, maybe 15th or 20th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
But you're right. He looked good in that second half. So I don't know if it was something that the Eagles, did, like if the Eagles didn't make adjustments to their adjustments, or if he just played a good game. And I think there is a little bit, and as we talk about the Vikings game, I think there is a little bit of like adjustments that the new coordinators are both going to have to kind of make as we go along here. Because like you said, the game plan week one, it just seemed very stale and not a lot of pizzazz. But maybe that's the weather playing a factor. But like nothing stood out to me. Like it seemed very like a bland offense. Right, like there wasn't much pop. Like we've been talking all offseason about how there's weapons all over the field. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. I don't think had a single catch that game, or maybe he had one at the end of the game. But did he have a catch? I don't even know. I don't think he had a catch. He didn't have a catch.
Two targets, I think.
Right. And DeAndre Swift only has one carry all game. So it was a very odd game plan to me week one, but again they won, so that's really all that matters. And they made some adjustments and brought them into the Vikings game, and obviously with Gainwell being banged up, he didn't play. That opens the door for Swift, but from this point on, Swift's your number one running back.
I mean, theoretically yes, but I still think they're going to. This is just theory. I still think they're going to kind of take it week by week.
Yeah.
I think 1 week, and I think I said this. I said this to somebody else because obviously I haven't been able to talk about it since the Eagles have started. But I was telling somebody the other day, I just think like 1 week it's going to be Gainwell, then it's going to be Swift, then it's going to be Gainwell, then it's going to be Penny, and then it's going to be Swift for 2 weeks, and then it's going to be Gainwell for 2 weeks, and then it's going to be Swift again. You know what I mean? I just think it's going to be a running back by committee.
And I don't think that's an awful thing to do when you look at who the running backs are. Like Gainwell, smaller body, already banged up. Swift has a history of injury. Penny has a history of injury.
Right.
Like
I was telling that same person. I think it was Friday. It was the day after the game. It's so funny, and I understand that these four guys are making the same amount or a little bit less or whatever it was. What Sanders is making in Carolina, the 7.3.
right.
But you just got rid of a guy who couldn't stay healthy for two guys that you brought in that can't stay healthy. So it's like the irony. Like, I look. Swift when healthy is one of the best backs in the league. We saw that the last 3 or 4 years he's been in the league. We saw that on Thursday. I really thought on Thursday they were gonna. And I said this before the season started on the show. I really thought they were going to say, Jalen, we don't want you to run as much. Just we want to dump it off. That's why we brought Swift in. And again, it's only been 2 games, but like we still haven't seen that.
Seen what, him run or him dump the ball off?
Dump the ball off.
Because like I did hear like we don't want you to run argument, and I'm not calling Jalen Hurts a running quarterback. It's part of his game. But it's also what makes him so great. It's what opens up other things in the field. So if you take that part out of it and limit him from running the ball, I don't know if he's going to be as successful.
No. I don't think they should take it out. I just don't think he should run 15 times a game, 20 times a game. Limit that to 10.
Right.
Stop getting he gets hit pretty hard. Like what's he been in his career? He misses 2-3 games the last 2 years. So like you're trying to save him. Look, we were going into the playoffs worried about him whether or not he's going to play. So like you kind of have him. He got hurt right before the Dallas game. Didn't play against Dallas. Didn't play.
No, it
against,
was wasn't the Bears game? The Bears game, I think, he got hurt.
No, I'm saying like he got hurt, but he finished that game.
Oh,
and then
right.
The next week was the first game he didn't play, which was against Dallas.
Yeah.
I forget who they played again after that. And then the final game of the season, the Saints on New Year's Day. Didn't play against the Saints. Then he comes out. He has to play against the Giants because you need to win that game to get the 1 seed. Comes out, plays. I guess I don't even know if he played the whole game. I don't remember, but it was over by halftime. And we're just like, oh man, I hope this guy's, obviously they had the bye, so like he was able to stay, he was able to rest for a week. But like that's what I'm saying. Like I just don't know if throwing this guy out there for 20 rushes a game and taking these hits is the best thing for him or the Eagles.
Did you hear what Donovan said today?
I saw something. I was in the middle of reading it and something came up.
Yeah, I don't know how you quantify it, but he said he talked to Hurts during that whole run after the injury or whatever. Like I don't know if it was leading into the playoffs. I don't know when exactly he talked to him, but he was only like maybe 60 to 70% healthy.
Right. Oh yeah,
and
I
just
played
played through it. Yeah. So again, I don't know how you quantify how much percent you are, but I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I kind of want to get into that, but I want to do it after we recap the Vikings.
You okay?
So, yeah, I week 1 wasn't great, but like we keep saying, an ugly win is better than a pretty loss. So,
absolutely. And then they have a short week, head into their home opener against the Vikings, 34-28. And listen, you're gonna have to. I mean, I saw some highlights. I had my first hockey game of the season on Thursday night, so I only watched the first half. The ugly half.
Okay.
And then after my hockey game, I looked at my phone. I was like 34-12. What the hell happened? I saw the Devontae Smith. Touchdown, the long 60-some yarder or whatever it was. And then I saw highlights of DeAndre Swift just absolutely going off. I guess the question I have is, what did you think the biggest adjustment was from the first half to the second half? Was it just flatly running the ball?
So before we get into that, do you remember the Super Bowl year? They played against Dallas. They go to Dallas. It's maybe like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and it's an ugly first half by both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Eagles are up like 10-6 going into the half. That whole game I'm watching on Thursday, I'm like, this game, it's gonna be like that, where like the Eagles come out in the second half, and I think they gave up 3 more points in the second half against Dallas that year, and they won like 38-10 or something. And the whole time I'm sitting here I'm feeling that's gonna happen tonight. And they started to
37-9 they won that game.
Okay, because they gave up a field goal. Yeah. Okay, I was off by 1 for both. I said 38-10. Yeah. I just obviously didn't happen that way, but they definitely made adjustments going into the second half. They ran the ball. There was one drive they ran for like 10 plays straight.
Yeah.
And you said you saw the Devontae catch. I mean, they were able to control the clock really in the second half by running the ball. It was a quick game. It was over by 11:15.
Right.
Like usually night games, primetime games, it's 11:30, 11:45. They ran the hell out of the ball. So, I mean, Swift looked great. And then the Vikings kind of made a comeback here, like pretty late on. I think Jefferson scored and Hawkinson scored. But yeah, I mean, overall, they looked a lot better in the second half than obviously in the first half. They kind of erupted a bit. Did Hurts score both in the second half? Like, were both of his touchdowns?
No, I thought he scored one in the first. Did he not?
Okay. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But he definitely scored one in the second, I believe. I'm pretty sure he scored a second touchdown. And then,
the second quarter, it was a 1-yard sneak.
Yeah, the same. I believe it was in the second half. He did the same thing.
It's his 1-yard run, so I'm assuming that was a sneak. Yep. Third quarter.
But they started to pull away, and then they kind of do what they, always do. Not what they did last year, but the few years before, where you kind of let your foot off the gas a little bit, and you kind of let the Vikings make a bit of a comeback at the end, and they had just enough to pull it off. So,
speaking of foot off the gas, see what Jonathan Gannon's up to in Arizona? I'm sure we'll talk about that when we do against the spread, blowing a 20-point.
Yeah.
20-point game or 21 point, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I guess again the big storyline of this game I feel like was one that we talked about the DeAndre Swift just going off 181 yards I think total he had.
Yeah.
And then another game plan is like they. It's hard for me to use the word luck, but they just benefited from bad turnovers from the Vikings, especially the Justin Jefferson touchback.
Yeah.
Because I mean he scores that touchdown.
How do you feel about that? Because I've seen that going around.
It's been the rule for decades, so like,
Right.
what are you gonna do? I mean, I feel like it has to be the rule because if it's not, like, what's the alternative? Just give him the ball at the 1 yard line, give him the ball, give him a touchdown. Like at that point, everybody's just gonna be throwing the ball in the end zone, just hoping for the best. You know, like
I've even seen people say like it's not like what's a bad rule that makes sense. Like I don't even think it's a bad rule.
I don't think it's a bad rule either. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Hold on to the football. Make sure you're going to hit the pylon and you're going to get there before reaching the ball over.
Right. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in like baseball. Like if you don't want a guy to flip the bat, don't fucking give him the meatball.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Right.
You know, don't fumble the ball.
Right. That's why I think the taunting rule in football is dumb. Like after you score a touchdown, you can't do all these excessive celebrations. It's like don't let me score.
Well, they've definitely let up on that a little bit.
A little bit.
Like you can't do like you can't twerk. But and I don't really want to see a guy twerk. But like, I mean,
but don't you miss the days of like T.O. and Chad Ochocinco? Like you can't do those stuff, the things they did.
Yeah,
anymore.
but you could do it more than you could 4 years ago.
Yeah, I guess.
You just can't get up and get in a guy's face anymore. Which I'm 50-50. If it's against my team, I think they should throw the flag. If it's not, then they shouldn't. But
love that. But no, like, I just don't know what the alternative is. Like, because again, if you're allowed to do that and like that's you just put the ball on the 1 yard line if that's a fumble, then like you're just gonna have guys just again nonchalantly just trying to get the ball there with no repercussion at all.
It's kind of like that famous like saying like if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Right.
Like is it broken? Like I don't think it is, but don't fumble football. You're the best receiver in the league.
And you know the thing that is just kind of annoying, and I've never been somebody who says like the national media's out to get Philadelphia because I think that's just a lazy argument.
Sure.
But it is kind of ironic that like the second the Philadelphia Eagles figured out a way to
change the game.
Change the game in multiple ways, right? You have the QB sneak, the push rule. Now everybody wants that out of the game. You have this fumble that happened against the Eagles, that happened to benefit the Eagles, and now is it time to change it? It's a little convenient when they pick and choose what rules they want to change all of a sudden.
Sure. No, absolutely. I completely agree.
So.
Yeah. I was going to say something else. I forget. But yeah, no, I don't remember. It was an encouraging second half for the offense, I would say.
Totally. Man, defense let up a ton of points, but I feel like defense is kind of the
dead.
Right. Well, yeah,
like
that's
three
true.
Of their starters were out. So
yeah, but like how
and
much
one of them got hurt.
Yeah, Maddox. You can't really count on him playing 17 games anyway. Like he's bound to get. He's done for the year, I believe. Right? Did they announce that officially?
I don't. It's speculated. Yeah. Basically.
Okay.
I don't think they said he's out for the year, but they basically said he's going to be out for most of the year.
Is it Sidney Brown's time to just slide in there?
Listen, is that what Sirianni said today? How he does a good job with getting guys that can play multiple positions. That's maybe what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This dude, number 30. I don't even know who he is. His last name is Evans. He's starting at safety for some odd reason. With Blankenship out, you still have this dude start. Like, I don't know. If I hate that whole thing where like the Eagles are so against like starting, like they have to prove themselves every week, and it's like if this dude just had like a stellar camp and looked like the best safety, him and Blankenship look like the two best safeties. Just start him.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like, we almost didn't start Carson Wentz. He was the number 2 overall pick. They had to, wait for an injury to trade Bradford for them to start Wentz.
Right. Like,
same thing with Miles Sanders. Didn't start his rookie year. Like,
in certain circumstances, it can make sense. Like, say Malcolm Jenkins was still here, right? All right, fine. You want Sidney Brown to sit behind Malcolm Jenkins for a year or two, fine. But you have nobody in front of Brown. Like, why not just play him?
Right. I agree. But now it makes it harder because do you start Like in my what I want is to see him start, but now it's like, do you start him and Mingo? Mingo or Ringo? I'm sorry, I keep calling him Mingo. Ringo at the
Mingo is somebody else, isn't there? Isn't there another player named Mingo? Is he college?
There's a receiver
in college.
in
Or is he in the
Carolina.
NFL now?
I know there's a
Yeah, it's Carolina.
receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Um,
Just think of Ringo Starr. Just Ringo Starr.
Right.
There you go.
So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't think they go out and get a guy this early. Like it's way too early to do that. But I
Buda
wouldn't be
Baker,
surprised-
you're not on board the Buda
Well,
Baker train.
You know how I feel about Buda Baker. I wish they.
What's the
would've
deal
traded
with
for
him? I saw they put him on IR. Is he like really hurt, or is this a phantom injury until they trade him? Like, what's the deal?
I don't think they want to trade him. So I've read stuff today that said they're encouraged to keep him.
Okay.
So listen, that could be total smoke just to save
Yeah,
themselves for now.
trying to get
but-
leverage. Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, I think if they were going to trade him, they would have done it already in the offseason.
I agree.
But
I mean, you
don't
rarely
get me
see
wrong, I
players
would
like
love
that
Buda.
get. Yeah, but you rarely see players like that get traded in the middle of the season.
yeah,
It doesn't
right,
happen
exactly.
often. Yeah.
Exactly.
And again, they're 2-0, so I think they're just going to keep trying this and see if it works, see if
Exactly.
it sticks. If they get desperate later on, maybe you make a move.
Right.
But I mean, they're thin at linebacker too, right? Because you're out with Nakobe Dean for a couple weeks. I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know. Is he
think-
ruled out for
think he's on the
next
IR.
Monday?
I think he's on
They
the IR.
put him on the IR. Oh,
I believe so.
so was that
I
is that
believe
4
so.
weeks still
4
you're
weeks,
out?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know they put him on the IR. All right, so he'll be out until what, week 6-ish? I think maybe he'll return possibly.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't see that. I missed that.
I believe.
They're
I'm
incredibly
pretty sure.
thin. They're incredibly thin at linebacker.
Because they said that it's going to be about a month, so I can't imagine them. Like, I think I read something saying that he was on the IR. If he's going to be out
Yeah.
for 4 weeks, I can't imagine him not being on the IR.
Right, it makes sense. Open up a roster spot.
And then, yeah, and I'm pretty sure Morrow came up, and he
Okay,
had
that makes
a
sense.
couple big
I missed
plays,
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know originally they just said multiple weeks. I didn't
Right.
see if they. I don't know if they said how long, but if it's 4, IR makes sense. But again, it leaves a giant hole. But if you can just get to the quarterback, which they kind of struggle with against New England. I know Jalen Carter had a ridiculous game against New England. He was just all over the place. Didn't really hit the quarterback all that often, or didn't. Did they have any sacks? Maybe one against New England.
Carter had one.
Okay, against yeah. So I mean, but they didn't really get to him that much. Minnesota, they got to Kirk a decent amount. I think the defensive line so far has looked pretty good, especially Jalen Carter. Like I know how excited we are for Carter, but he's been great.
Yeah, of course. Week 1, they had Jordan Davis had a half a sack, and Jalen Carter had 1. I don't know who
Okay.
else had the other half with Davis, but no, I know Carter had 1 by himself. I was thinking maybe he had 2 halves, but yeah, no, Kirk. They did get to Kirk. They gave him a lot of pressure.
I think they made him fumble what, twice? Was it twice? It was at least once.
Ever since becoming a dad, I just don't have any kind of
Any sort of
memory
brain
whatsoever.
I know. That's
Um,
brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I know
It was at least once. It might have been twice.
Yeah.
They got to
Yeah.
him.
we're doing a great job here.
We are. Well, listen. I mean, the Thursday games are always tough to kind of come on here on
Yeah.
Monday to talk about because it seems like it happened so long ago. Like when there's Sundays, it's still fresh in our minds here on Monday night.
Right.
But I mean, I'm looking at the stat board. It doesn't even have his fumbles or its fumbles. It just had. I mean, Kirk actually had a decent game. 364 for 4
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The second half, they really let up. They really put their foot off the gas. They took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
So
Yep. One thing I kind of want to transition to is we talk defensive line. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are we with the offensive line?
I mean, I think their offensive line is great. I really do, but I think it's also really good, in part because of Jalen Hurts too. His ability to get out of the pocket and throw the ball. I think that plays a huge part, what a lot of people don't recognize. He also helps the offensive line. I mean, look, I was gonna say this. I've already hinted at it twice about I wanted to talk about the Vikings game before I got into this specific thing. and it kind of is in part with the offensive line and Jalen Hurts. These guys, we have to remember, did not play in the preseason.
Yep.
This is their preseason. I don't know if you saw the Sirianni after week 1 said he's going to have to reevaluate next year.
Yep.
Whether or not he plays these guys in the preseason. And I've been somebody who says the preseason means nothing. It's it's these guys don't need it. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe these guys do need a little bit to kind of get prepared to
something. You need, because
right.
like, playing in practice is totally different than playing against actual opponents.
Sure.
At a high speed. Like, I think it's definitely needed. I don't think Jalen Hurts necessarily needed it, because I think he proved to us last year. You think he needed it?
I think so far this season we're seeing what we would see in the preseason.
Okay, I mean Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but
he just looks. And listen,
off.
I'm
just
not
looks
100% sure. Right, I'm not 100% sure he's 100% healthy either. Like, he doesn't.
Well, that's a problem. If that's it, that's a problem. That he'd be banged up this early, because like,
I could be totally
he hasn't
wrong.
really taken any hits. Like, what would he be banged up from?
Maybe in training camp something happened where he's just not 100%. I don't know. It's just a theory. There's nothing to back this. I don't know. Seeing the guy he was 2 years ago. He was the guy that his first read was always the first read. It always got him in trouble. He would not stretch the ball. He would not throw the ball down the field. He would run a lot before he would even think about throwing. And then last year he was the total opposite. It was first read's not there. All right, second or third. I'm going to throw the ball down the field. I'm going to throw in the middle of the field. I'm going to throw it the sidelines. I'm going to get the ball down the field. I'm going to throw it to A.J. Brown, even though he's triple covered. Like, we saw a total 180. And I think so far this season we've seen a guy that's kind of in between that a little bit, like the guy he was 2 years ago and the guy he was last year. And it just kind of seems like there were times, even like week 2, like against the Vikings, like he's just sitting back there. And then there were videos coming out of Dallas Goedert week 1 wide open 3 different times, and he just won't get the ball to him. And the guy we saw last year was, like I said, not picking his first read. So, like, what is the issue? Like, the interception he threw the other night or against Minnesota, like, that was his first read, and he threw it in double coverage, and it got picked. And
is that the one to Devontae across the middle of the field?
Yes.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah.
Yep.
Now here's where the preseason practice or the preseason thing kind of, I think, comes into factors. Other years it might not matter as much, but this year I think it did, because you do have 2 brand new coordinators. Like, why not practice in a game scenario and learn with the coordinators? Like, make sure everything's going well. Like, that's where I think it made sense to have these guys in preseason.
And that's also something that I've not liked. And again, it's two games. We can't be too worried right now.
No,
but like, I don't like either thing that I'm seeing from either coordinator so far.
No, me neither.
There's no creativity in the offense. Again, 2 games.
Agreed.
But there's no creativity in the offense. I don't really love the play calling. I'm fine with them running the ball. If they did it last year, that's how they won last year. They were boring games, and because they were up so big and they had to run the ball. But I'm just not moved yet by this play calling. And then the defense obviously letting up. At least Gannon didn't let up. As much as we can't stand the guy, at least he didn't let up in the second half.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, listen, I'm convinced defensive coordinators just suck in general. Like, we hated Jim Schwartz when he was here. We wanted to move on. We got Jonathan Gannon. Hated Jonathan Gannon. Wanted to move on. And now we're already this Desai guy. We're like, all right, we don't like it. Figure something else out.
I mean, listen, the way of the NFL now, it was the last 20 years. We'll let you inside the 20s. We'll let you do whatever. Or I'm sorry, outside the 20s, we'll let you do whatever. But we're just not going to give up anything inside our 20s. And at least Schwartz was good at that somewhat. And that's kind of the Belichick way. Like, Belichick, we saw it last night against Miami. Like, well, I'll let you get downfield, but you're not, first and goal. Like, we're going to get you 4th and goal. And
how'd that work out for Belichick?
Well, they lost last night. Yeah. But I'm just saying. in general. That's his whole
No,
career.
totally. Yeah, it's
That's
what
the whole
won him
way of the
6
NFL.
Super
The
Bowls.
last
Yeah.
right. That's the last 25 years of the NFL.
Yep.
So
The bend but don't break.
right, the Jim Johnson was
Yep.
famous for that
Yep.
here. So I don't know. I'm not moved. I'm not moved yet, and I'm not
Yeah.
worried yet. I'm also not worried. So
No, I'm not worried
we'll
either
see.
because like last year, it's hard for me to use the word sluggish because I think the week 1 against Detroit last year they put up like 30 some points and won,
Yeah.
but like we all felt like, oh my gosh, this team isn't ready. Like they almost lost they let the Lions score 30 some points on them, but like it seemed like it took them a little bit to kind of get the ball moving, right? Like it took them a little while to get into a rhythm, especially like defensively. Like I think they'll be fine. Like he had an okay first game, Hassan Reddick, but like we haven't really seen last year's Hassan Reddick yet. Like when that happens, watch out because like you line that up with Jalen Carter and the defensive line in general. Like I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Jordan Davis too. I think he looks pretty good so far. But
yeah, I also think people have to remember too. This team is not going to be the same team they were last year. They're not going to break the sack record. They're not. They're going to get to the quarterback, but probably not as much as they did last year.
They lost a lot of bodies on defense. They really did.
Big bodies too.
Yep.
So like, it's they're not going to be that team where the second half comes every game where they're just up so big that it just Jalen gets to sit and like we get to run the ball and it gets a little boring and they're not going to be as good as they were last year in that sense. But the only like positives I could see with them playing not great so far, at least it's now. At least it's not in that stretch where they play the Cowboys. Who else do they play in that stretch? Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills. That 6 or 7.
The Bills are a mess right now. I mean, I know they just kicked the shit out of Vegas, but I don't know. The Bills are.
But again, it's the same. It's the same thing as the Eagles. Like none of their starters played in the preseason week 1. Like,
no, true.
So,
True, and in that stretch they played Dallas twice. They played the Chiefs, the Bills, the Seahawks in there. I think.
Yeah,
but
I think when they play the
stretch.
Seahawks, that stretch kind of ends. Like,
Yeah,
that's the beginning of like the easier. The
mean,
beginning and end is fairly easy, and then it's the middle.
Yeah, because when we broke down the schedule, I think I have them winning every game until the bye, which is like week 12. I think I have them go
10.
week 10. Yeah, I think I had them going 9-0.
Yeah.
Like because the first half of the season, I think is pretty easy.
Yeah.
And as much as they've kind of struggled so far, I still think they're a top 2 team in the NFC. I really do.
Oh, I think them and the Niners are definitely the top 2. Now seeing what you've seen so far, do you still feel 9-0 or 10-0 or whatever you had?
Hold on, let me check the schedule real quick. Because that might sway my decision because I'm seeing things from different teams.
Because I think week 1 is when. All right, it's week 1, but going into week 2 and 3, you kind of start to figure out like, okay, this team is good, this team is not good. Like, this player's good, this player's not really that good. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, hold on, let me pull this up here. All right, so we have week 3 against the Bucks. Yes, still think that's a win. Week 4 against Washington. Yes, still think that's a win. Week 5 at Los Angeles. The Rams aren't as bad as they were last year. Going to the West Coast, I could see that being a loss. I think the Eagles are better than the Rams, so I still think they can win that game. So I'm not going to say it's a loss, but I could see it being a loss. Week 6 at the Jets to win that game. Week 7 against Miami. It's home against Miami on Sunday Night Football.
That's the Kelly Green game, by the way.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know if that sways your decision.
Well, Miami. I think Miami's really good. The only question is Tua still upright at this point of the season? If Tua's upright and he's still healthy, that could be the first loss. And then they also play Washington week 8 and Dallas week 9. I just think they split against Dallas. I don't think Dallas sweeps them. So
sure, you
either take week 9 them winning or week, what is it, 12 or 14. You flip flop those 2 games. But I could see a world where they go 7-2. I could also see a world where they go 9-0.
Okay, so what I've seen so far from the league, from the Eagles, I have them winning Monday night against the Bucks, winning against the Commanders, winning against the Rams, winning against the Jets, winning against the Dolphins, and then they blow it. They go to Washington.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
I think they split with Washington, they split with Dallas, and they beat New York twice. I think the first loss they
Washington,
get
huh?
at Commanders. Yeah, at the Commanders.
I personally think Washington stinks. Like they're 2-0, right? I mean, they barely beat the Cardinals, who stink, and then they probably should have lost to Denver.
What did they do this week?
So they beat Denver, but
35-33,
Denver threw a Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Yeah, but
completed it.
Right.
Should have gotten 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Right, it was either pass interference or holding,
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But
that's a coin flip at that point.
I don't think it's so much that the Commanders win that game. I think the Eagles could lose that game. Just for some reason I have it highlighted where I just think I feel like
the last
just come out flat.
No, I feel like the last handful of years Washington's kind of had their number for whatever reason.
Right. And it's in Washington. It's it's a late October game. It's one of the 3 1:00 games, which they play Washington twice at 1. 2 of the 3 are against Washington at 1:00. And then I think that I don't think they lose at home against the Cowboys. I really don't.
So you have them 8-1 heading into the bye.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
8-1 heading into the bye, and then guess what? The Chiefs haven't done anything to impress me yet. Even though they
their offense, something's wrong with their offense, though.
The Bills so far have been base. Like, one week they look great, or 1 week they look horrible. The next week they look great. What are they going to be when we get there?
Yep.
So I really think they can go 8-1 going into the bye. I do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I just the Washington loss is going to stick out like a sore thumb if that happens.
What happened last year? They were 8-0 going into the Washington game, and they lost.
Is that what happened?
At home, yeah. Oh my God, Schwerber. His second? Oh, he just missed it.
Did he? So they beat Detroit, they beat Minnesota, they beat Washington, they beat Jacksonville, they beat Arizona, they beat Dallas, head into the bye, beat Pittsburgh, beat Houston. Yeah, week 10, they lost to the Commanders.
They were 10, okay. They were 9-0.
Yep. Well, no, they actually were 8-0 because they were on a bye before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were 8-0.
Yeah, so I was right, 8-0. Yeah. So, it was the game that Watkins dropped the easy touchdown.
Yep.
And then when Brandon Graham sacked or hit the late hit because he took a knee on Heineke.
Yep.
So,
I remember that. And then Heineke celebrated like he did something.
Yeah, right. I just have a feeling it's going to be similar to what it was last year. It's just an ugly game. They're going to lose. That's the thing. They're going to lose 1 or 2 or 3 ugly games this year.
Sure, and listen, it's hard to win every game. Like you don't go 17-0
especially against a division opponent. Man, you see them twice a year. We're gonna beat them the first time, and Washington's gonna look at that and say, they're coming here. They're gonna play them hard.
Yep.
I hope they win every game. I'm just saying. For some reason I have a feeling.
Listen, your feelings, it's all you got.
Will we really be upset? Will we really be upset at 8-1?
No, not at all. It's just like you expect the one against Dallas, Miami, you're not expecting it against Washington.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
But all right, so Monday night against the Bucks, we are going to do our show Tuesday, right?
Yes.
We'll do it Tuesday instead of Monday, obviously. The game. So 7:15, this game. I kind of like it. I dig it.
Love it.
I dig it.
I am pro two game Monday nights.
What's going on with that? Because I know the NFL's done it. I know the NFL's done it. Like usually it's the first week of the season.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this year it's week 2 and 3 both. I don't know if it continues past that. It might not. But week 2 and 3 now have 2 games Monday night. I'm all for it. I like it.
Me too.
Because 7:15 game where the game's over by 10:30 instead of 11:30.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
I hear you.
So how do we feel though?
About the game?
Yeah.
Listen, I think the Bucks. look better than what I expected them to. They really only lost Brady. That guy.
Baker's played pretty well.
He's played pretty well.
And
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. Sorry to cut you off. Mike Evans is on a mission right now.
Dude. I mean, there have been people who told me that Mike Evans is average. Like I think
That's insane.
Walks into the Hall of Fame.
Crawls.
So
Crawls into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, man, it's insane. He's gonna have another year where he's playing with a guy who's, this is probably the second best quarterback he's ever had. So like, that just tells you, 1,000 yards.
Him or Jameis? Him or Jameis? Who do you like more?
It's probably Baker.
Probably. And listen, he didn't give him a contract, so he's motivated to kind of,
Sure.
It's a contract year. He wants to make his money, get his big deal. He's motivated. He looks really good. I mean, they're playing good. I don't think the Bucs are great, but they're playing better than I think people expected them to. So I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk on Monday night.
But I agree, but it's kind of like what the Sixers, tried to do in the playoffs last year, which worked for most of the games. Let the one guy do his thing and you stop everybody else, right? You can let Mike Evans have 10 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown if Godwin has 2 catches for 15.
What's the thing? You have to contain Godwin if that happens.
That's what I'm
you
saying.
Can't let them both. You can't let them both go off.
Right. If just like they did, Justin Jefferson went ballistic.
155 yards or whatever it was. Yeah.
But they lost the game. So I think that approach can work with Mike Evans, and I think JJ's the best receiver in the league. He's hands down better than Mike Evans, far better.
Yep.
So you can successfully stop the rest of this Bucs team and let Mike Evans be Mike Evans and still win the game. So that's what I'm kind of looking for them to do. It doesn't seem like the Bucs have much of a running game. Just get to Baker, man. Just make
Who
him,
is their running
make
back
him
now?
make it Rashad White. I think his name is.
What? Yeah. What happened to Fournette? Is he out of the league?
They let him go.
Is he anywhere?
I don't believe so. I don't know.
These running backs just have a shelf life of like 20 minutes and then they're out.
Yeah, I don't think Fournette's anywhere. Who knows? Maybe he's an Eagle soon.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, he probably wants too much money for what he is. For
probably. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's probably true.
But I'm feeling confident for Monday night. In Tampa, obviously.
Wait, Saquon injured his ankle?
Yeah, he's out like 3 weeks.
I assume Fournette is a free agent because the second article down here on Google, I just typed in Leonard Fournette. It says top free agent running back trade targets for Giants after Saquon Barkley injures ankle. So I guess he's a free agent, and they're going to say that maybe they could sign him.
Yeah, fill in. He hurt his ankle a little bit. He'll be out 3 weeks, but.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that, but they really don't have much of a running game to answer your original point. I think the Eagles win. I don't know if it's going to be a pretty win like we hope to eventually see. I think the Bucs are good enough to hang in there. I think it'll be a hard fought game, but I think they come out with the win.
I think it's going to be a 27-20 Eagles win.
27-20. Okay.
They win by a touchdown.
I was going to say like 23-17, something 24-17, something like that.
Okay.
All right. Let's do some against the spread here.
Yep.
You got your picks, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'll start them off. So, first off, last week you have a chance. Did the Saints game start yet?
Yeah, it's almost over.
Is it?
That was the 7:15 game.
It's almost over. I love that. Not even 10 o'clock yet. You're saying it's almost over.
It's the fourth quarter.
What's the score?
13-7 Saints. 13-6.
13-6. Still. So how much time's left?
12 minutes.
Okay, so you still got a lot of time left in that game.
Yeah.
But you have a chance to go 5-0 on the week.
No, I thought I lost the Packers.
No, so the Packers one, I ended up changing it for all of us because Chris sent us a late, sent it to us late on Saturday, and he had the Packers plus 1.5. The line moved, so the line moved late in the week. So because he sent that to us late, I just, I grandfathered it in for all of us and let us all kind of pick the Packers 1.5 because Chris did it. But so we got that 1.5. But yeah, you have a chance to go 5-0. I went 3-2. Chris went 4-1. So a pretty good week for all of us, honestly.
Yeah.
So
all
on
over
the
500.
Yep. So on the year so far, I'm 4-6. You are 5-4. Chris is 6-4.
Okay.
So week 3, what do you got?
I got listen, man, I absolutely for some reason I keep taking the away team. I got the Bills at the Commanders, Bills -6.5.
Okay.
Then I've got these division games. Love them too.
Yep.
Texans at Jags, Jags -9.5. I think they come out swinging this week.
You said Texans, Jags -9.5?
Yep.
Okay.
Then
what
I've got
are you doing? What? Go. Did you hear my dog? My dog's barking right now for no reason. Literally right next to me, just looking at me and barking. So if
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, well you're
I'm sure
to
you guys
serve
can hear
some
my cat every once in a while.
right.
So
all right, so Jags is -9.5. Okay.
then I got the Falcons at Lions. Lions -4. I think Atlanta's such a fraud team.
Even a -4.
Lions -4. Yeah.
Okay, I have it a -3.5.
Okay, we could do 3.5.
Oh yeah, we could do 3. Okay.
I did this morning, so it probably.
Okay, I did it like maybe 4 o'clock-ish, so probably
Okay.
moved. Yeah, -3.5. All right, over unders.
I got the Chargers Vikings over 51.5.
Okay, I mean that's a big number, but both teams can
Yeah.
get that done for sure.
I just think the Vikings, both of these teams need a win. So
Yep,
I just
agreed.
think they're both. It's going to be a shootout. And then I got the Steelers Raiders over 43.5. I know with the Steelers it's a bit questionable, but they could put up 20, 23. And the Raiders can score too. So it's a bit of a gamble, but.
Yep, for sure. Hold on, I'm gonna talk amongst yourself for 2 seconds. I'm going with this dog outside. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what to talk about while Mike's not here. This is pretty lonely. The Phillies are up 7-1 in the bottom of the ninth, 3-2 count, 2 outs. When I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be a baseball announcer. So this is my time to shine. All right.
What's up?
I was just telling everybody that when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be a baseball announcer. So I was just announcing the Phillies game. What was going on?
You could continue announcing the Phillies game.
So, yeah,
when I let the dog in about 5 minutes.
So
because she just would have kept barking there all night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So for mine, I have for my picks, I have the Broncos and Dolphins. I have the Dolphins -6.5. Again, we talked about it earlier. I think the Dolphins are just really, really, really good.
I looked at that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have the Bears and the Chiefs. This line I think is nutty. The Bears stink. The Chiefs don't look great yet though. But I have the Bears plus 13.5. I think they keep that within 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Okay.
Bears plus. That's a lot of points. No, it's a lot of points to give, man. It's a lot of points. I have the same line as you with the Falcons Lions. I have the Lions -3.5. And then from over-unders, I have the Bengals-Rams. At some point, the Bengals offense is going to wake the fuck up. Over 43.5.
Let's hope.
Let's hope, yeah. Seriously, because I don't know what's wrong with their offense. I think Jamar Chase had like 1 catch for 0 yards in the first half on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
He
So I've over.
crazy, though.
He what? Yeah, he did.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
So I have the over 43.5 there, and then I have the Cowboys and Cardinals over 43. Cowboys offense has been kind of rolling. They might get 43 by themselves. And if they don't, the Cardinals only need a few points to get there. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Yep. Speaking of the Cardinals, and just absolutely blowing this game to the Giants. I actually in the Phired Up Survivor pool, I actually picked the Giants. So I was kind of sweating it out for the first 3 quarters.
You and me both. I picked them in a separate because I'm out of the Phired Up one, but a separate Survivor pool, and I was.
I thought it was
I was getting ready to send my money.
Yeah, right. I thought it was the lock of the century. Like, they played as poorly as they did against Dallas week 1. You're playing against the worst team in the league. How do you not just annihilate them?
Stink, man.
I know. Yeah, I get that now, but like, they were competitive last year. What changed? If anything, I think the roster got better.
I from watching that game, play calling was not impressive either.
No.
They had the ball inside the 5. The first play. This was maybe 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. They're down by a touchdown, I think it was. A few minutes left in the game. You have the best running back, arguably the best running back in the league before he gets hurt. Or maybe there's like 5 minutes left. You arguably have the best running back in the league, a top 3 running back. On the 4. They're inside the 5, on the 4-yard line. They snap the ball. Incompletion. All right. Second down. In the shotgun. Snap the ball. Incompletion. It's third down. Snap the ball. They go to throw the ball. There's a flag.
Okay.
So 3 straight plays, you're inside the 5 with the best running back in the league. And they throw the ball. They say, Daniel Jones, you know what?
We paid you 40 sheets a year, yeah.
Go get it for us.
Yeah.
And what does he do? Almost blows it. They want to get a penalty that pushes them back, so they have to throw the ball now. And I'm sitting here with, and that's when Barkley he caught the touchdown. So essentially it worked out because he caught a touchdown, tied the game, and and I have him in fantasy, so it was a second touchdown. So it worked out. But still, like, how do you just not run the ball inside the 4 on the 4-yard line?
At least
with the best running back in the league.
Yeah, right.
All right, first down doesn't work. Fine. You want to try it on second down? Fine. Third down, like you're not going to lose 5 with Barkley. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Dable's supposed to be this great coach, and
yeah, I thought he was really good last year. He got a lot out of the team that I didn't think he would.
But guess what? They don't have it this year.
No,
he's
not
not
yet.
getting out of this year. Not yet. Yeah.
No. Nope. Because I mean, you lose 40-0 to Dallas, and then you're down 20-0 in the first half to Arizona.
Right. And now you lose your best player for 3 weeks.
Yep.
So.
Yep, that is true. Who do they play this week?
They play Thursday against the Niners.
Oh my God, they're gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
They're
going to get destroyed with Barkley.
Right, exactly. Also, like, how did the Cowboys just open this season with this many like softballs? Like, I know the Jets weren't supposed to be a softball. Rodgers goes down or whatever and isn't available, but like you start with the Giants, then the Jets, and now they're playing the Cardinals week 3.
Yeah, listen. It goes by schedule, man. It's what you were last year in the standings is who you play this year in the standings. So,
yep.
Do our division plays. I mean, our division plays the West, right? Yeah, because we play the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and
the Seahawks.
Who's the last team in that?
Who's the last team out there?
The Niners.
Yes, yeah, the Niners. Yep.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you look at it too, the Eagles the first 6 or 7 weeks are kind of softballs too. Maybe not.
No, totally.
The Patriots, who have a good defense, but still, the Patriots, Bucks, the Commanders, the Rams, who were putrid last year. You know.
Yeah, but I still don't think the Rams were as. Like, I don't think the Rams are as bad as they were last year.
No, they're not. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Compared to what they were last year, it's .
Yeah, no, for sure. When's Cooper Kupp coming back?
Was he on the IR? Did they put him? I think they put him on the IR.
Did
to
they?
Start the season.
I missed that too.
To start
he'll be
the
out
season,
until
I think.
week 5 at least.
Yeah.
Because they play. When do they play? Oh, they play in week 5. So like, there's a chance that could be his first game.
This Puka, I don't even know how to say his last name.
Yeah, I don't know either. Setting records though.
He had 15 catches this week.
It's a lot. It's a lot of catches.
It's a lot of catches.
It's a lot of catches.
But guess what? If there's any quarterback to help his receivers, it's Matthew Stafford. Like,
sure.
Helped. Marvin Jones had 3 years with double-digit touchdowns. I think it was with Stafford. Like, I mean, obviously Calvin's Calvin, but
yeah.
Golden Tate had a 1,300-yard year with Stafford. There's a couple more I can't think of off the top of my head, but
Yep. Yeah, no. I mean, Stafford's really good. Stafford, I think, is above average. I don't know if I would use the word great. I think he's an above average quarterback who had a bad year last year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's kind of what he is.
The Cooper Kupp 2 years ago had a historical year. So.
Yep.
It's that discussion.
Probably
we've
could have
had
won the
this
MVP.
discussion.
He didn't win the MVP, did he? Probably could have,
Cup?
though. Yeah.
No.
Probably. The argument was there. Like, that's how good of a year he had, I think.
Yeah, of course. He almost 2,000 yards.
Right.
We've had this discussion on the show with Chris before. The three of us. It's like, where does Stafford? Where is he in the Hall of Fame? Because if you think about it, before Russell Wilson, his years in Denver, like you think, oh, Russell Wilson's probably a Hall of Famer, but they're the exact same quarterback, like stat wise, before Denver.
Right.
The 2020 up to the 2021 year, they were the same quarterback. They both have a Super Bowl, both throw for basically the same amount of yards, almost identical to touchdown. Like they are exactly the same, and it's so weird because you think Russell Wilson definitely a Hall of Fame. You know, I'm pretty sure he's a Hall of Famer, and then you think Stafford's like, eh. Well, they're both now. It's just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I wonder why. Probably because one expectation, like wasn't Stafford was a high pick, wasn't he?
He was the number one pick.
Yeah, number one pick. Whereas Russell Wilson was like a fifth rounder, third rounder. Yeah. So, but like when you look at Stafford, like the eye test doesn't tell me Hall of Fame, but then you just look at all like the yards he puts up, and
yeah,
I think it's close.
Do you take into consideration how he got those yards? Like I don't think you can, but it's like all those yards come in. Like either slop time, it's like Tony Romo. Like all Tony Romo's stats are like slop time. Like
right,
you know, and he does it. Like, he's really good late in the game, but like his defenses were so bad, and he was so bad that like he always had to come back at the end of the game. So it's like
he did, but like
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I don't know that it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like you just look at the Lions teams that he had to play for, and those teams more often than not sucked. They were terrible.
You could argue he has a top 10 greatest receiver ever.
No, sure, yeah. No, I'm just talking about like the defense as a whole. Like he always had to try to come back from behind because the team around him, other than Calvin Johnson,
that's
sucked.
what I'm saying. But he also put himself in those positions too. So that's why I'm like, is it a good thing that he's known to be this guy late in games to always get back, or like is it a bad thing to always, have to win games late because obviously your team sucks, but like you sucked in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah. Do play-by-play with the Phillies real quick while I let this dog inside.
It's over.
It's over?
The Phillies
won. Do post-game then.
Okay. Phillies won. They have a 3.5-game lead for the top wild card spot. So the Phillies win the series opener against the Braves 7-1. Covey did not get the save, but he got the final 3 outs. Rojas hit an opposite field homer, went 1 for 4, was player of the game. Yeah, it just got over the wall though, so he did not crush it, but we'll take that win over Kyle Wright. I think they have Strider tomorrow, and then somebody else on the last game of the series. So.
I mean, you had nothing else NFL to talk about, right? We could kind of move this into transition to the Phillies, right?
Yeah. Real quick, the only thing I was gonna say was the Joe Burrow for MVP. I'm firing it in.
You could probably get some crazy odds right now. Because the offense just doesn't look right.
Yeah. You know what? The other day, he has a commercial, and my wife was like, "Oh, that's Joe Burrow," and I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "All right, I see it." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." I love me some Joe Burrow. So.
No, Joe Burrow's great. I love Joe Burrow, but it's just for whatever reason. They're struggling right now.
Also, too, can we stop? Can people stop? It's like when Christian McCaffrey was coming out in the draft. Like everybody call him McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
Like everybody calls Joe Burrow Joe Burrows.
Joe, really?
Yeah, and I haven't seen it until like 2 weeks ago.
I never heard that.
It's
kind of like how everybody. It's kind of like how everybody called Alshon Jeffries.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So from the time that Joe Burrow was like starting to become like a name in college football, LSU. From then up until 2 weeks ago, I've never heard anybody call him anything but Joe Burrow.
I never heard that either.
And then 2 weeks ago, everybody's calling him Joe Burrows.
There's got to be a joke. Like,
Where did the S come from?
It's a joke. It's got to be a joke.
Not even a little bit.
No.
That's the best part. Where did the S come from?
That's a good question.
Well, you just signed the contract. Yeah, I'm Joe Burrows now. Like
I'm Joe Burrows. Yeah. That's funny. So what happened in the Phillies game? They won. Last I saw was 7-1. What was the final?
They won 7-1. Yeah.
Okay. Are the Braves just like kind of mailing it in until playoffs? It's kind of what it seems like.
Maybe.
They're sitting players and.
Well, no. Well,
I don't know if they set anybody tonight, but I know like a handful of games they're
let's
starting to
see.
sit people and rest
Let's see
people.
what the standings look like.
I mean, they're
So
probably 15 games up.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the 1 seed. If they want to keep the 1 seed.
Oh, is it them or the Dodgers? Or
Yeah, they're up 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're up 4. Well, I don't know what the Dodgers. I guess the Dodgers played tonight. But I'm not sure what they've done or if they've played yet. But right now they're at 4. Atlanta's above 4. 4 games ahead for the 1 seed.
Okay.
So that's the only thing at this point that they're playing for. So I'm assuming they're still gonna try to win. And then you have the Braves of the 3 seed, and then the wild cards are the Phillies, Diamondbacks, Braves. What did the Cubs do today?
I literally just added up. Hold on.
They didn't play today.
Oh, they didn't.
No, the Diamondbacks also didn't. They did not play either.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the Phillies are what 3.5 games up of the Diamondbacks.
Before the win tonight, yes.
So 4 games then.
Correct.
And
It'll be tomorrow. Will be 4. Yeah, tomorrow morning.
What are the Diamondbacks doing tonight?
They're not playing either.
Oh, they didn't play either.
No, there's only a couple games on the night.
Right.
So they just swept the Cubs off tonight, and then they go 2 against the Giants at home. And then the Cubs obviously just got swept by the Diamondbacks. And then they're off tonight, and then they play 3 against Pittsburgh.
I think the Phillies are going to have some serious trouble making a run because of how bad their pitching is. But I'm not afraid of any potential wild card team that they could play in the first round.
Let's say hypothetically, they lose. They bump down a spot. Are you afraid of the Braves? I mean the Brewers. I mean,
would they play the Brewers
if they go down a spot? Right? No, I'm sorry, 2 spots. Sorry.
Right, yeah. I don't think that'll happen though. And no, I'm not really afraid of the Brewers. I'm not really afraid of the Brewers either. No.
Yeah. I don't see a world where they're not the number 1 wild card, but
right. And then they play so if that happens they play the second wild card, right?
If they move to the 3, they play
if they stay at the 1 wild card spot.
You're right.
They play the second wild card spot,
correct.
Right?
They're home,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
3-game
series at home.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
so if it ended today, we'd play the Diamondbacks for 3.
Right.
Or best
and
of 3.
I'm not really afraid of the Diamondbacks.
No, and also like as crazy as the Phillies pitching has been, I think there are a few teams that are in a playoff spot or close to a playoff spot that have had it worse. Honestly,
think so? Like who?
The Cubs pitching has been really bad. The Reds
Steele's been
pretty
good for them. Steele's been pretty good for them.
I mean,
yeah,
but so is Wheeler. Like Wheeler's been really good.
No, sure, yeah, and that's fair.
So even the bullpen, like they just got swept by the Diamondbacks. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously Gallen is like a Cy Young candidate
caliber, yeah.
I think there are a couple teams that have it worse than the Phillies.
Not great. That's why I think they're gonna win a wild card matchup because I'm not afraid of any of those wild card teams that they'll play.
Yeah.
But I just don't see. I mean, I know they beat the Braves tonight, but I don't see how they're gonna beat the Braves, the Dodgers.
Sure.
In deep in the playoffs with their pitching. I just don't.
And I've seen people say it like, oh, in September last year their pitching was good, and then Nola came in the playoffs and things just changed. We can't count on that either.
No.
Like I would not count on like, oh, let's just make the playoffs and things will change. Like.
No.
Exactly. That's a little too far. But
and I was more confident in the pitching last year than I am this year. I mean, I don't think that's like recency bias. I'm pretty sure that's how I felt. Like last year, I was fine with the pitching. It was like Nola, he still had his inconsistencies, but like it didn't last an entire season.
Homers. Yeah.
Right, and it didn't last an entire season. Like he had good outings. Like he was pretty good last year for most of the season.
Yeah, his biggest thing is just the homers. That's really
I agree. I agree 100%. But now you're seeing the bullpen like Sir Anthony. He's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Lorenzen's moving to the bullpen now because he stunk the last handful of starts.
Right.
Walker is an absolute wild card. You're either going to have a really good outing or an absolute dumpster fire from him.
See, but I think you're better off having the good outing from him as long as the lineup is hitting, because
Sure.
he's a guy that we've seen all year that's just that one inning. Like that one inning, he might give up 3 runs, but like the lineup always hits for him. So I'm not saying let's go into the playoffs with that. Like, oh, well, we'll just assume that the lineup will hit for him. I understand that, but also like everybody, like, and I think we've had this discussion on the show like 2 weeks ago. It's like I don't know if I feel comfortable with Sanchez starting Game 3 either, though.
I don't know that I feel comfortable with it, but I don't know that you have a choice.
Let's say Ranger kind of finishes out the year that he's been pitching right now. Not great, but not like bad.
Yeah, I want Ranger pitch starting a playoff game for me.
Sure, just based off of the balls that he had last year.
100%. 100%. Yep.
So I think
nothing else. Based off
that.
nothing else. Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Right. So I've seen that discussion going around Twitter, like who starts at Game 3 if they get to Game 3. And it's the same thing as Bailey Falter last year. Like Sanchez has been really good this year, but like they didn't just throw Bailey Falter out there in the playoffs last year. Like
if it's Game 3 in a wild card series where it's do or die, give me Ranger because again he's got
Correct.
the balls of steel. If it's Game 3 in a 7-game series against Braves, Dodger, whoever, give me. I'll put Sanchez out there. Game 3.
Nah.
No.
Nah. Nope. I'm not even starting Sanchez at all.
Sanchez has been better than Walker though. He just has.
I see. You know what? I think there's a lot to giving a veteran the chance. Like you have to give a veteran, especially if it's a 7-game series. Let's say they're down, tied 1-1, like going into Game 3, like Game 3 and 4. Like I'm giving it to Walker and Ranger before I even think about Sanchez. I
get it. I just think Walker's dangerous. Like he's so volatile. He just I don't know.
There's still some time for them to, what do they have? So they finish out with the Braves, then they come back home for the Mets, back home with the Pirates, and then they go to the Mets. So he's got what 2-3 more starts left.
Right.
Let's kind of see how it play. It kind of finishes out a bit.
Sure, if he's hot heading into the playoffs, then fine.
Right.
Sure, fine. Give him the ball.
But I don't know. I don't think the Phillies should reinvent the wheel either. Like, like it's not like Sanchez has been Sandy Koufax either. Like, he's been good.
He's got he's got a mid-3 ERA, doesn't he? Does he not, or a high 3?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't have it in front of me.
I'm looking it up right now.
You think I'd look that up?
Sanchez has a 3.4.
I mean, that's my guess. It's probably the best on the team. Maybe behind Wheeler.
It is not the best. Oh, for starters. So Nola's at a 4.62. Wheeler's at a 3.7. Walker's at a 4.4. Is Lorenzen counted as a starter?
He's gonna be in the bullpen, so no, I guess not.
Okay.
But what's
Suarez,
his? What's Lorenzen's?
4.
Okay.
Suarez is a 3.8.
So he out of your starters, Christopher Sanchez has
sure.
the best ERA.
Yeah, by like.
He's still better than
Hardly.
Wheeler or Nola.
By like.
And what was Walker's 4 point something? Like that's
0.3.
significant. What was Walker's?
4.4. I'm not saying.
I mean
Walker,
that's
I'm saying
that's
Wheeler.
it's like. Oh no,
Wheeler and
sure,
Suarez.
no, sure. I'd rather have Wheeler go than Sanchez. That's obvious, but you're talking about Sanchez over Walker or Walker over Sanchez.
Nah, I'm
Like,
still.
Sanchez had the far better season than Walker.
I mean, I wouldn't say the far better season. Walker's
I mean, I
won 15
understand.
games.
I understand. ERA is one specific stat, but that 3.4 to 4.4 is a pretty significant jump.
It is. No, it is. It absolutely is. I'm just saying, it's like you can't say that Walker or that Sanchez has had a better year than Walker because Walker's last 3 starts were terrible. Like he still has 15 wins in like His ERA
Sure.
was like
Yeah, no,
sub
sure.
4 the whole year until like 2 weeks ago.
Sure. But
I give Sanchez a lot of credit. I do like Sanchez. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't know if I'd give him the ball to start a game in the playoffs. Like they didn't do it with Bailey Falter last year. What are they gonna do with Sanchez? Like Falter, you could argue probably had a better year going into the playoffs than Sanchez has.
yeah, but I'm kind of afraid they're gonna do something similar to Sanchez that they did with Falter, where he doesn't pitch at all for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they throw him in because they need him, because they need an arm. They have nobody else, and then he's rusty as shit.
But now they have 2 guys that can play in that role because they learned from last year. Strom, who's been a starter in this league, that can pitch in 2 or 3 innings if he absolutely has to. And now Lorenzen. That's why they went out and got Lorenzen. We have a guy that's flexible, that's been in the bullpen in the past. He's started in the past, and obviously before he moved to the bullpen this time, a more current starter. That's I really think they learned from that. They said we gotta get those guys that are flexible. The biggest mistake they made to me so far was at the deadline. Like I said it the whole week leading up. I don't think you were on that show. I forget where you were. I think you were on vacation maybe. Chris and I did the show, and it was the trade deadline, the day of the day before the deadline. And
I think I was away. Yep.
The one thing that I want to see them do before 4:00 tomorrow, or whatever time it was, or 6:00. I want to see them get back-end bullpen help because I don't want to put the rest of this season on Kimbrel because he's had a great year at that point, and I want to save him for the playoffs, and I just don't think that you could – and Hoffman's been great, but, you can't trust a guy like Hoffman or Alvarado to stay healthy. You can't trust Dominguez to come back, and he's going to be the Dominguez he was before the injury. You can't – and I just really wanted them to get a back-end guy because they're cheaper to get, and they just couldn't do it. They just could not get a guy, and I just think – if they would have gotten another to help Kimbrel, you wouldn't have to see these guys that probably are never going to pitch in the playoffs anyway. You could definitely get them help where you could take some pressure off of Kimbrel leading up to the playoffs so that he's still that guy, and he's been shaky. So, I don't know. Maybe the Phillies should hire me.
Right. Well, listen, we're talking Walker versus Sanchez, and once the 3-game series is over and you go to play either the Atlanta or the Dodgers, I'm just saying Taijuan Walker against Atlanta has a 6 ERA and against the Dodgers has an 8.64. I'm just saying it's dangerous, dangerous territory throwing Taijuan Walker out there. Christopher Sanchez, by the way, against the Braves has a 4.91. Much better than and he never played the Dodgers. He never pitched against the Dodgers, but far better than Taijuan Walker's stats.
What was Walker's against the Braves?
6. Yeah.
I understand. I get it, but also how many starts is that for both?
12 innings pitched for Walker, so I assume that's 2 starts. Yeah, 2 starts for Walker.
In his career, or is it
Braves.
This year?
This is just this year.
Okay.
This is just this year.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And Sanchez, that was 1 start. 7.
Right.
7 and a third inning pitched, 4 earned runs.
I get it. I just think it's really hard to compare 2 games to 1.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, I know. I partially did that as a joke.
Yeah, no, I know. Especially because the Braves would rake.
Sure, yeah.
Dude, it's crazy to me that Matt Olson just broke the single season home run record for the Braves when this team had arguably the second or best, whatever you want to consider him, the greatest home run hitter of all time.
Right.
Hank Aaron.
Yep.
And you know who had the record? It wasn't even Hank Aaron.
Who?
A guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. Andrew Jones.
I was going to go Chipper, but yeah, that
51.
makes sense. Yeah, yep.
It's just
how many has Olsen hit? He's had that many?
52. He hit 52.
Wow, really?
Last night.
It's been that good.
It's been that good.
I bet you.
It's so hard. I bet you his average is 240.
It sucks that he's a Brave because he's actually a likable dude.
I know.
But he's a Brave, so you gotta hate him.
He kill it for Oakland too. That year, the year him and Hoskins came up, they came up at the same time, and it was the rookies that were they couldn't stop hitting homers. Him and Hoskins, the rookie year.
Yep.
He's hitting. Okay, his average is actually up, 278.
Okay, 278, 52 home runs. I mean, I'll take it. I will take it. And he's got
He-
129 RBIs.
Yeah, dude. You know what? He actually might be in the MVP race.
I'd have to take a closer look at what his teammates doing. Acuna.
His teammates?
What his teammate Acuna is doing.
Right. I got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I got you. Yeah. No, I
'Cause
don't think. I think Acuna is better, or I think Acuna is more deserving. I'm just saying MVP talks.
Sure, Betts is up there too. Betts is having
Yeah,
a
of course.
stupid season.
And Freeman.
Right. Yeah, I mean the Braves in general are just nuts.
Acuna 337, 37 homers, 98 RBIs as a leadoff hitter. Where are the stolen bases? 66 stolen bases.
That's where they'll get you. I mean that's a lot of stolen bases.
So,
real quick to kind of switch gears a little bit, stick with the Phillies. Because I didn't realize he was this close to it. I know he's had a pretty good season. Alec Boehm's going to break 100 RBIs.
is he?
Probably. He's at 91 right now.
Yeah.
So he with what? How many games left? 20.
They have
15.
Two more against the Braves. I'll count them out. You count the actual games. I'll tell you what's left. 2 against the Braves. 3 against the Mets. 4 against the Mets. Sorry. 3 against the Pirates and 3 against the Mets.
So that's like 13, 14.
Yeah.
I'm not a math guy.
He should get it.
14 games left to get 9 RBIs.
He should get
and
it.
I don't even know that counts tonight. Did he get any tonight?
I'll look it up. Bohm has 0 RBIs tonight.
Okay, so
my thing with Bohm, should he get it? Sure, but would you be surprised if he didn't?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. No, I wouldn't be surprised.
But I will say this.
But I didn't think he would be anywhere near 100 RBIs. Anywhere near it.
What? Yeah, I guess.
And the thing is, I know you criticize his power. If he had a little more power, he'd be there. He's only hit 17
absolutely.
home runs. So he only hit 17 home runs so far.
Right. Does he have 3 more in him? You think?
To get to 20?
Yeah.
14 games. I mean, the pace shows that he doesn't, but we'll see.
Right. So another guy. I think he hit his 45th home run tonight.
Schwarber.
Sure is. Let's see.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
2 RBIs, a home run.
Getting your soapbox.
Kyle Schwarber. He's gonna probably hit more home runs than he did last year. And guess what?
Theoretically, yeah.
He's probably gonna break 100 RBIs.
If you're hitting 45 home runs, it should be a guarantee to hit 100 RBIs.
Well, he leads off, so it's not.
It's still
that's not his fault.
No, but you lead off one time a game.
I was just told that he stinks. So he stinks.
Who told you he stinks?
You did.
I don't know.
Don't say you never said it. Don't say you never said it. I have it in writing.
I don't know. Okay, if you have it in writing, I definitely said that. Whether I meant it is a different. I
can't wait. All right.
I didn't mean I didn't mean he stunk. What I really mean is he's the worst 45 home run guy in the history of the sport.
That's different, but that is different than saying that he stinks. You said he stinks multiple times.
I mean,
he's got more home runs than singles.
He's hitting 197.
How crazy is it? He's got more home runs than singles.
That is
as a leadoff.
How many singles does he have?
How 2023 is that?
How many singles does he have?
He has. It gives me doubles and triples.
Doesn't give you singles?
Singles. No, I just heard that today on
okay.
not the radio. The pregame. No, I don't think it gives me singles.
Doesn't give you singles?
No. He also
how many hits does he have?
107, which is the most in his career.
All right, so add up doubles, home runs, and triples, and subtract that by his hits.
Yeah, it's too much work for me.
All right, I'm sure I can figure it out at some point.
So 17 doubles.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me pull this up here. We'll figure this out.
But that doesn't mean
we're doing real detective work.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say it counts as homers too.
I know.
44 homers.
Yeah.
17 doubles. 1 triple.
Oh, that's 62. 62. All right, so what? 107 minus 62? 45 hits, 45 singles.
Okay, so he
he's
tied.
even.
He's tied.
Right.
He must have hit a single tonight or yesterday.
That's
I
funny.
don't know.
That is kind of wild.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
That
insane.
is. And at one point, it looked like he was going to, get over 200. I think he hit 200 at one point.
What?
200 average.
Oh yeah, last week he was like 201 or something.
No, he's back down under. He's
197.
197. Yeah.
But that was before tonight.
Right. And he had one home run tonight or two? I thought he said he hit two.
One. He had two RBIs. Two-run
Okay.
homer.
Okay, I mean, listen, it's a good season out of Kyle Schwarber. I'm done complaining about like him leading off because the team
No, me
wins and
too.
they get results.
I was totally with you. I didn't think it was gonna work. I just thought you have Trey Turner, Bryce,
Who's back,
these
by the
other
way.
options. Yeah, exactly. Who they both are the typical prototypical leadoff hitters. Both could do it, and it's just they win with Schwarber.
Yeah,
it's like they waited till June 1st to do it because they knew if Schwarber turns it on.
Yeah, as soon as June hits. Like, why can't it just be June all year round?
Yeah,
My birthday month, everything's happening in June. Stanley Cup
it's the
Finals
start of the
happen.
summer.
Yep. Hockey starts soon. I can't wait for hockey.
I wanted to kind of get into that a little bit actually.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I mean, we got like 10 minutes.
A few minutes
before we wrap up here. Yeah.
The Flyers, man. They so when does their season start? Like October 3rd or 5th or something?
It might be after that. I think it's like the 7th or 8th.
What the fuck happened with Babcock?
Oh. So how familiar are you with the story?
All I know is like he was looking through players' phones or something.
So
I thought it was the Team Canada stuff at first.
No, it wasn't. So,
Okay.
So the Spin Chicklets podcast, Barstool podcast, obviously has former players Paul Bissonnette and Ryan Whitney on it. They tell a story on their podcast last week about how a player told them a situation of Babcock saying,
Before you get into this, so has Babcock even coached a game yet?
"Not a single." He got hired.
All right.
He got hired back in July.
Okay, go continue.
So he was using this as an exercise, or so he said he was using this as an exercise to get to know the players, right? He would basically, the way they described it on the podcast is he would basically have players pull up their phones, put it on like AirDrop or not AirDrop, put it on like a screen share or whatever, put it up for everybody to see, and scrolling through their photo, their camera roll and things like that. And the players just felt super uncomfortable about it. Apparently, he's done this in Toronto and Detroit as well. It just never really got out. The players, I guess, never really said anything. So they said that, and the entire hockey world goes nuts, calling them liars. They're making this story up. So it was a whole thing. The NHLPA did an investigation about it. Mike Babcock and Boone Jenner, who Paul Bissonnette, his name is, he's the one that said he did this to or whatever. So Boone Jenner came out and was like, that's not really how it happened. It's overblown. I had no problem. He's like, it was innocent. I could pull up the tweet if I get a second, but basically it was innocent. And then Johnny Gaudreau came out and was very outspoken about it because they had like they had I don't know what they're called. If they're called summer meetings, they or fall meetings. They had like a get together with like every team had a representative, and Johnny Gaudreau was the lone one for Columbus. So he had to answer questions and said, "No, it happened to me." He's like, "I was fine. It was innocent." He asked me about my family. I showed him some pictures, like, my newborn daughter, my wife, whatever. So then NHLPA did a whole investigation about it. And turns out, basically, the younger players were off-putted, thought it to be off-putting.
Okay.
This old guy in his 50s or 60s, he's probably in his 60s now, I think, is asking to show, asking to see pictures from his camera roll. Like, it's just it didn't, and he's kind of had a reputation for being a bully to the younger players.
Sure.
There's a story about Mitch Marner when he was in Toronto, like. Are you familiar with that story? Mike Babcock and Mitch Marner in Toronto?
I feel like I've heard something.
So Mike Babcock went to Mitch Marner and said, "Give me a list of players that," I forget the exact terminology, that are like lazy or like don't have a good work ethic. He's like, "Just between me and you, Give me a list like your top 5 players or whatever. Mike
Like
Babcock
teammates
gets
or just in general.
teammates.
Okay.
His own teammates. Give me a list of your top 5 teammates that you think lazy, need a better work ethic, whatever. Writes his list, gives it to Babcock. Babcock shows the entire fucking team his list. So like that whole dynamic would just be off between player to player. Like, so Mitch Marner's like 21-year-old. It's 20-year-old is, but like, I think he was a rookie. He was like coming into the league.
Yeah. See, like my thing with my problem with that whole thing is like, if you're trying to motivate your players who are in high school or and I'm not saying look through their phones, but like that kind of thing where like these guys like if you do it for like high school kids or college kids or whatever it is to try to motivate them in a sense to be better at whatever you're trying to get them to be better at, I get it, I guess, but like these guys make millions of dollars. This is their professional career. Like, I don't know. That kind of seems like a little overboard for me.
Right. So when it first happened, here's what the Columbus Blue Jackets released: 2 statements from Babcock and Boone Jenner. Babcock, while meeting with our players and staff, I asked them to share off their phones family pictures as part of the process of getting to know them better. There was absolutely nothing more to it than that. The way this was portrayed on Spit and Chicklets podcast was a gross misrepresentation of those meetings and extremely offensive. These meetings have been very important and beneficial, not only for me, but for our players and staff as well, and to have them depicted like this is irresponsible and completely inaccurate. And then Boone Jenner's statement was, while meeting with Babs, he asked me about my family and where I'm from, my upcoming wedding, and hockey-related stuff. He then asked if I had pictures of my family, and I was happy to share some with him. He showed me pictures of his family. He showed me pictures of his family. I thought it was a great first meeting and a good way for us to start to build a relationship. To have this blown out of proportion is truly disappointing.
Yeah, but if he just because he treats you that way doesn't mean he treated another player that way.
Exactly, and that's what happened when they launched the investigation. They found out that the younger players didn't have the same experience that veterans, Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau had.
Sure. So,
I'm trying to see if I can pull up a clip of them actually telling me the story. Oh yeah, here it is. Hold on. Let me play this real quick. I'll share the screen because it's them telling the actual story of how it happened. What the fuck's going on here?
I get a text from a player. He goes, have you heard what Babcock is up to again? And I'm like, no. So he gets to Columbus, and one of the first things he does is he calls in Boone Jenner, the captain of the team, and he says, let me see the photos in your phone. I want to know the type of person you are. What the is going on?
Is that even legal?
It feels like it's totally illegal.
Get him on the podcast to grill him about his antics as a head coach. Like, worry about the forecheck. Worry about your personnel. Worry about getting the power play humming at an alarming rate so you might have a chicken dick's chance of sneaking in a wild card spot. Why do you want to see throbbing dick pics from your captain on his iPhone? I don't understand this.
By the way, if I was going into one of these meetings having heard all these stories prior, I'm putting on like Rocky quotes.
Yeah, delete.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Then right as that pistonette says, like, well, no, I'm the complete opposite. I'm gonna have close-ups of my bin staring him directly in the face. But yeah, no, that and then the investigation came back that again the young players felt off. It just felt off about it, and he ended up resigning. So yeah, he probably one of the shortest coaching tenures in the history of the sport.
Yeah,
didn't even coach a game.
Yeah.
I don't even know that he coached a practice, to be honest.
Well, he's definitely had meetings. I'll tell you that much.
Had meetings. I think camp starts this week, I think he just started. Okay. So maybe he coached a practice or two.
Yeah. Did you hear that really quick? Did you hear that story on what's it? Something. What's the Cote podcast? Knuckles.
Nasty Knuckles. Yeah.
Nasty Knuckles. Did you hear the story? What they said today or yesterday or whatever?
No, I didn't.
So the former trainer that is with Cote basically said like I think they had Villy Leno on, and
okay. Settlemyre?
Like,
Is that who you're talking about? Settlemyre?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, Derek Settlemyre.
So this was back when Hextall and Berube were still here. Now he said like they get to Detroit. It was like they played Monday night or something, and they don't play till Wednesday. They play Wednesday in Detroit. So they travel on after the game on Monday. They get there. They wake up on Tuesday. They have at noon. They have ice time, and he said usually it's just like the younger players, the guys that don't play, kind of get the ice time, and the other guys like work out. So he said we get to the arena, and the fucking Red Wings are like on the ice. Like it's 11:55. Like we have to get out there to practice. So I guess like he said like Hextall came in to what's his name, the trainer?
Derek Settlemyre.
Okay, I don't know what Hextall had like a nickname for him.
Nasty.
He, like, called him. No, it was something else.
I know he goes by Nasty Settlemyre.
It might be. I don't know. But he basically was like he's like yo, like what's going on with that? He said I don't know, I'm the fucking trainer. Like I don't know what's going on. He's like why don't you go find out? So he's like I go up to whoever Detroit's like whoever handles that. He's like we're supposed to get on the ice and like oh well, you have to talk to Babcock. And he's like Babcock comes out and now Berube and Hextall are walking down the hallway and they're looking at me to say to him like listen you guys got to get off the ice. So finally like Hextall like kind of like nudged Berube to be like say something. And Berube's like, you got to get the fuck off the ice. And Babcock was just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And he was like, Babcock was like, you should have worked that out better. And essentially he was like, we did. We scheduled it for 12. You have 5 minutes to get off the ice. One thing led to another, whatever. They eventually came off the ice. The trainer basically said like Babcock did not look Hextall or Berube or him in the eye the entire conversation.
Yep, I believe it. No, he has a serious like. He has a reputation of being an asshole. Did you ever hear the Chris Chelios story? Chris Chelios, he was playing. He's older in the league at this point. They're playing a Winter Classic. His whole family comes out or whatever. He dresses or whatever. I think it's the first shift, or he's about to go out there for the first shift, and tells him, "No, you're done you're not playing tonight," or something like that. Literally, like he dresses, but tells him he's not playing. His family came out, so so Chris Chelios is like, all right, fuck you then. I'm going to sit there and crush beers or whatever. He's sitting there behind the bed. The trainer's going to get him beers. Babcock told him to go on like later on. I think it was like garbage time or whatever. Chelios said, no, go fuck yourself. I'm not going out there. And basically walked out. And then he healthy scratched Mike Modano. I think it was supposed to be Mike Modano's 1,000th game. Scratched him for. And I don't think he ever played his 1,000th. I think it was like the last game of the year. He's just a raging asshole.
Yeah,
basically.
It's definitely not like the Keith Yandel.
Right, yeah,
Iron Man
right.
streak.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
Madonna kind
Different.
of like deserved that, you know?
Yeah.
Deserved to play the 1,000th game.
Right, yeah, like it's, a great player, Hall of Famer.
One of the greatest American hockey players ever.
Going to play his 1,000th game, and the last game of the season, he gets fucking healthy scratched for it.
Yeah.
He made Johan Franzen basically hate the game of hockey, and like anytime you bring up Babcock's name to him, he like gets like PTSD. Like he has a reputation of just making players hate the game. Like he's just an asshole.
War flashbacks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, anything else before we get out of here?
No, man. Hopefully the next.
While you're wrapping it up, I'll play the song again because listen, they had 2 wins. I gotta play it one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get here the full thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited the next couple of weeks to kind of look into the Flyers a little bit. The Sixers start up soon. That's going to be another headache.
Yep. Yeah, who's looking forward to that?
Yeah, and then we got the Phillies playoff push and the start of the Eagle season. So, excited.
Listen, October's the best month of the year. I'll stand by that.
When the Phillies are in the playoffs.
Yes, agreed. We have Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, and then Sixers, I guess.
Yep.
For whoever cares about them. And the Union whenever they play. I don't even know when their season starts and ends. So.
Right.
so we're gonna get out of here. Like us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Check us out over there. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now. We're gonna get out of here. We'll see everybody not next Monday, but next Tuesday. Hopefully, following an Eagles victory. See you then.